All right. I think we're all ready to get going. Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Spriggs, and I'm the Director of Marketing Strategy here at Tomorrow's Technology Today. We want to thank you for joining us today for our webinar on SharePoint and OneDrive. Today's webinar will be recorded, and I will be monitoring the chat. So if you look at your screen, you'll notice that if you kind of scroll or hover over it a little bit, there's a little chat window that says Show Conversation. I will monitor that for your questions. If you have any questions, feel free to place them there, and I will make sure those get asked of Katie. Our presenter today is Katie Kramer. Katie is a training and project specialist for TTEC-T, offering Office 365 and security awareness training. Katie has over 15 years experience in the IT field and a degree in business information systems. I'd like to welcome Katie Kramer.
Thank you so much, Amy. So as Amy mentioned, we will be talking about OneDrive and SharePoint today. So we have a lot to go over. So we are just going to jump right in. If you are not sure if you have these tools available to you, OneDrive is built into Windows 10, or you can also go to portal.office.com and look under your apps, and you'll be able to see if you have those applications available. If you have your Microsoft subscription through us, you are welcome to give us a call and we can get you hooked up with these licenses if this is something that you are interested in. So let's talk a little bit first about the difference between OneDrive and SharePoint and when to use each one of them. So what is OneDrive? So as I mentioned, it is built into Windows 10. So when you're getting your computer set up, you can use your Microsoft account to get logged in. And this is going to allow you to save your files in the cloud. A lot of times this is what is recommended for just using personal files, or if you have just a couple people that you need to share just a few files with, just use your OneDrive. You can share directly from there. It works the same way as every other Microsoft 365 application as far as the sharing goes. So very easy to use, and we'll take a look at that today. You can access from any device. So if you have your OneDrive app installed on, let's say, an iOS or an Android device, you are able to get to those same files that you have synced up from your computer, maybe at the office. So you can access those files even when you're away from the office, just using your mobile device. As I mentioned, you are able to share with others, so you can avoid sending copies of the same file, thus creating the numerous copies of the same thing and having different versions of the same document. Everything is private. You control the permissions. You will know if someone has access to your document, so you don't have to worry about anyone being able to see documents that you don't want them to see. The recent document on one device is the same on every device. So it will sync up as long as you're connected to the internet. You're able to sync your documents back and forth. They do have extended storage, so you get 1 terabyte with your OneDrive subscription. So what that equates to is you can have 1 million documents, and keep in mind, this is just for your personal use. So 1 million documents that you can have saved out there. So plenty of storage available. So as far as SharePoint, so what is SharePoint? So this is what the tool that you're going to use to build intranet sites and create pages, document libraries, and lists. You can add web parts to customize your content. You can show important visuals, news, and updates with a team or communication site. Discover, follow, and search for files, sites, and people across your company. You can manage your daily routine with workflows, forms, and lists. You can sync and store your files in the cloud so anyone can securely work with you. This is really nice too. You're able to have the same shared document. So let's say that you have a status report built within a Word document. You can have your whole team editing the document at the same time. And then that way you're able to see too where each person is working within the document. So very nice to use, especially if your team needs to get something out the door. And then you can also catch up on news on the go with the mobile app. So again, when to use OneDrive. So this is going to be on the personal side of it. There is the web view available, and then there's also, you can have it within your file explorer. So if you look at the screen right now, I have it just in the pinned off to the side, and it says OneDrive, Tomorrow's Technology Today. And here you can see I have all the different folders that are tied to my user profile. So those are going to be available locally on my computer. And then I also have it synced up to the cloud in OneDrive. So very nice to have. And then we also have all the status icons that show me where these folders currently are, or the files. So what each of these means, and I also have a couple other ones in addition to this. So if we have the little blue cloud, that means that the file resides in the cloud only. If it has the two little arrows, that means that the file is syncing. If you see the little person, that means that this is shared out with someone. If you have the green check mark, that means that the file resides in the cloud and temporarily on the PC. If you have kind of the reverse of this, where it's a filled in green circle with a white check mark, that means that the file resides in the cloud and permanently on the PC. If you have a red circle with a white X on it, you're going to have the file sync has an error and you need to help it out. So you can just click on that error message and it'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it. Sometimes it's something as simple as just looking at the file name. There's something about it that it doesn't like. So you just go in, you update the file name, and you're good to go. It'll start to sync again.
Katie, one question on that.
Yeah.
So when you have it, when you're trying to sync it or you're using it on your computer and you save it, is it saving just to your computer? Will it automatically save to the cloud, or how does that work? Because you don't want to leave it on one device and then maybe try to get it somewhere else. How does that work?
Yeah, so if you are working within a document and you do the file save as, you're able to control where that sync is going to. So if you want it to always sync, leave it always on. I think by default, they have it set to always turned on. So you don't have to worry about turning it on. Or you can also go down to the little cloud down in your taskbar. And if you click on that, you can see kind of what the status is, and it will tell you if it's up to date or if you need to sync it. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't, I wasn't going to save a file that would save only on this device and then I wouldn't be able to access it anywhere else.
Yep, sounds good. So the other thing that's important to know is a lot of people think that they can use OneDrive as a backup solution. We don't really recommend that. We are going to recommend that you use a third-party backup. The reason being is that Windows 10, OneDrive, and all your Microsoft apps use the same Microsoft account. So should your account be hacked, they can very easily wipe out all your data. So yes, should your hard drive fail, your computer is stolen, you spill coffee all over your laptop, it happens. Whatever the case might be, yes, you can get your files from OneDrive to another device. And again, it's as simple as just logging into the device with your Microsoft account, and all of your files that are in OneDrive are going to be there. But again, if something should happen to your computer locally, there's no chance of getting that back. So largely using a third-party backup is to protect yourself and your business from hackers. So, and again, you can either go through File Explorer if you want to, or if you also want to go out to portal.office.com and go to the OneDrive app, here you can see all the same folders that I have within my File Explorer. Does anyone have any questions on using OneDrive?
I think we're pretty good on OneDrive right now. Can you tell me, are you able to access it from like any kind of device? Does it have to be computer?
No, you can access it from any kind of device. So if you want to use your smartphone or a tablet, you can do that. So all you have to do is install, I would use the app that is available within the stores and just sign in with your Microsoft account and you're good to go.
Perfect.
So let's move over to SharePoint. So SharePoint. So again, you will use this if you have a large team or your whole company has files that they want to share. This is going to be the way to go. That way you're not constantly trying to keep up with permissions of who has access to your files. So the important thing to know about SharePoint, if you are moving your content from a file server to SharePoint in a document library, make sure that you use the tools that are available. And there are actually quite a few. So there are tools that what's called crawl the data, and they add it to the search index for your users to be able to find what they're looking for when they are searching in SharePoint. So this keeps your searches relevant to what the user is trying to find. So, and this is something a lot of people go really wrong with this. So you have to be very careful. They think that they can go out, they can create their document library, they can drag and drop their files, or they can just use the upload button. Yes, it is that easy, but if you already have all your established data and you're just moving it and you're picking it up again from your file server and moving it to SharePoint, don't just drag and drop and don't just use the upload button. That's going to create a mess and you're not going to be able to find anything. There is a method to the madness. There is such a thing as a SharePoint administrator who can help you with this. So we're happy to help, or reach out to someone who has that knowledge, because it's something that you don't want to have a mess of with trying to find your files back once you're moved into SharePoint. So let's see. So if we go to create site, and we'll just walk through how to set this up. So when you click create site, you're going to have two options that you can do: a team site. So this is where you're going to share documents, have conversations with your team, keep track of events, manage tasks, and more with a site connected to a Microsoft 365 group. On the other side of that, you also have a communication site. So this is going to be where you can publish dynamic, beautiful content to people in your organization to keep them informed and engaged on topics, events, or projects. So both are extremely valuable. And the nice part too is that you can actually use a link and tie it to your communication site so that people can get to their shared files through the company. So let's take a look at the team site first, and we'll just do webinar 123 is the name. And this is going to be our site address. And we can give it a description if we want to. If we want to limit who's able to see it, we can leave it as private. If we're okay with anyone in the organization, we can set it to public. Keep in mind too, when you are using SharePoint, don't think that people can go out and Google and find anything that's saved within your SharePoint site, because that's not the case. Yes, it does use a URL. Yes, you do go through a web browser to get to it, but they need to have permissions and they need to have the link available to them to actually be able to get to it. They're not just going to be able to go out there and look up your company and see whatever you guys have saved on SharePoint. So the permissions are there. It is secure. It is something that we definitely recommend using. And so we'll just click on next. And if I want to add an additional owner, I'll add Amy as an owner. We'll hit finish. So this is everything that you get just as soon as you edit, or just as soon as you create your page. So here you can see up at the top, we have what the name of the site, and then we also have that it's a private group. Over here, we can see that we have 2 members, and this is how easy it is to see who has access to this site. So here, if I want to change what Amy can do, or if I want to remove her from the group, maybe she changed positions or something like that, and I don't want her to be able to have access to it anymore, I can take her off the list. When you give someone access to a SharePoint site, they will receive an email notification letting them know that they do have access, and then it will also provide the link so they're able to get to it.
And that was one thing I was going to ask in the questions here. How do we remove someone if they've left the company?
Yes, so great question. So don't worry about going through whatever SharePoint sites you end up setting up. You don't have to go through them one by one. It is tied to their account. It's Azure. So if they're disabled within Azure, they're not able to get to it through SharePoint either. So that takes care of their whole Microsoft account.
Perfect.
Same is true, like if they're just temporarily out of the office and you need to remove permissions for a little bit, it's not like it has to be this big thing. We're able to go into Azure and we can disable them for a little bit, and then we can re-enable them when they're back in the office.
If you do that, re-enable, will it add them back to the same places they were before?
Yep.
Awesome.
So, and then if we click on the new button up here, you can see all your different options of creating your list, your document library. If you want to do a page, this is a great place to put news, things like that, common resources for people. You can also just do a news post or news link, even if you want to do something outside of your organization. Like if you're, let's say that you want to do like a feed from the Wall Street Journal or something like that, you can add that in here. You can also do a plan, or if you have a different app that you want to do. So let's take a look at the document library. And we'll just call this team files. This is always something that a lot of people are interested in doing. So here is kind of the layout. And this is kind of the newer layout that they have. Back when SharePoint was first created, they kind of stuck with the original. So you can also do the classic SharePoint. And to do that, all you have to do is go to the bottom left-hand corner and you can return to classic SharePoint. So if it's something, maybe you've changed companies or something like that, you want a different view, you can't get used to how this is laid out now, you can do that as well. So what we can do from here, we're able to go in, we can create a Word file if we want to. And here you can see I'm using Word Online. So this is part of my Microsoft 365 subscription. So I don't even have to open the desktop app if I don't want to. And I can just do projects and click on files, save as. So from here, I can save as a copy online if I want to rename it. If I need to download a copy of it to my computer, that's where I would do this from. So let's say you're traveling and you want to make sure that you have the latest copy of it, you can do that from here. And here we can tell it the location that we want it to save in. So here you can see my files, and then we can drill down from there for where we want to save it to. And now you can see I had this nice new document created for me in my Teams files. So from here, I can click on the document. If I want to share with other people, I just click on this little share guy over here. And let's say that I want to share it with Lisa. And here you can see too, these are all the different permissions that we have. So anyone with the link, that can be people also outside of your organization. So that's something, if you want to be able to share with people outside of your company, you can go into your admin center and you can enable those permissions from there. You probably will want to have a global admin turn that on for you so that they can kind of control who's able to see what with outside of your company.
One thing I was going to say with that, Katie, I know that we have been able to do in the past is even save a PDF version of a proposal and share that out with, a potential client or customer or a current client or customer.
Yes, that is really nice to have too, that when you can just share the link with them. So basically what this does is once you share the link, it'll create an email and it'll have that link in it. So then the person's able to get to that document just by clicking on the link within the email. Very easy to use. So, so here are all the options if I want to allow editing, or I can also make it so it's view only, or if I want to block them from downloading it just so that they're able to see it and not actually keep a copy on their computer, I can do that as well. And then I can just click on apply. And from here, if I want to copy the link, I can do that here, or I can also use Outlook to send the message. So then if I click the three little dots, which is typically the indicator for anything for Microsoft options, just do that. And from here, we have all these different options that we can do. If we want to move it around, if we have different folders set up, just click on the Move To button, and that'll bring up a list of folders for you, and you're able to move your document around. Let's say that you need to change it from a different project or something like that, you can do that here. Or let's say that you have templates set up and you want to copy them to another folder and use them on different projects, you can do that as well. Let's see. So that is part of the fun. I mean, SharePoint is a very interesting tool. It's easy to use. If you want to do the mobile app, you can do that as well. And you're able to get all these same files through the mobile app. So as long as your company allows you to have business documents on your personal device. Any questions on that side of it?
Yeah, I have a question. So if someone is looking to do a consultation, because I know you said something about having a SharePoint administrator, having someone do that for you. If someone wants to set up a conversation about that, what should they do? Should they contact you, contact us at like the sales at TTechT?
Yeah, either one is fine. Just give us a call at the office and we are certainly happy to talk through whatever your current situation is and then help you get a path forward. So, yep, we can plan that out and help you out with that.
Perfect.
All right, so let's go back and we're going to do create site. And over here, we'll do communication site. And we'll call it news for team. If you want to add a site description, you can do that. We're going to click on finish. And from here, you can see, I mean, you basically have a website set up for anything that you want to share with your team. And then you can just go through and you can customize each of these little boxes if you want to. You can add a news section, you can add events so people can keep track. Let's say that someone's buying lunch on Friday, so you want to add that to your events, you can do that from here. You can have recent documents. This will only be for your recent documents. It's not like you're going to have to see whatever all your coworkers were working on recently. And you can also see like the location, things like that of where the file is actually saved. So again, you have the option to do the list, the document library. If you want to do a new page, new post, new link, or an app, you can do that. Over here, you can see where it says that it's published. So let's say that I want to edit a different part of this site. I'm going to click on edit. And from here, I have all the tools that I need to be able to edit the different web parts. So I can click on this. And it's going to give all the different options that I have for what I can do or how I want it laid out. So you can do different structure. You can tie it to different news feeds if you want to, if you have pictures that you want to share, if you want to add the holiday schedule, vacation schedule, those kinds of things. You can do anything that you want with all these different web parts. Like I said, it's basically like having a website for your company and just being able to share information. Kind of keeps everybody on the same page. So you notice when I hit edit, it came out of published mode. So I am going to have to republish it before anyone is able to see my changes. So, and make sure if you have multiple people who are the administrator for your site, make sure that you know kind of who's working on what, so you don't kind of create any discrepancies between what's being posted or who kind of wins. So
that was something that just kind of came through too. I just had a question that I think might be related. Someone just asked, what happens if two people are editing the same document in SharePoint?
So you'll be able to tell if someone else is editing the same document as you. It'll give a little icon and like a little placeholder for where the person is actually working within the document.
Okay, so in documents it'll do that, but when they're working on the site, you want to make sure one person's working on it at a time.
You don't even necessarily have to do that. It's going to save whichever, whoever saved last, that's what it's going to save. So, and then it'll also notify you if there were two people, which one you want to save or which one you want to use.
Okay, perfect.
And then just hit the republish button when you're ready to make it public again. So any questions about the communication site?
I think you've answered most of them so far.
Okay, good deal. So yeah, I don't think I really have anything else for today. It was kind of just a getting started and just to talk about the differences between the two applications. So.
Okay. So just a reminder to everyone, if you have any questions or need any further information, feel free, reach out to Katie, reach out to us at the office. You can give us a call, or you can email sales@ttechT.com, or Katie, if you want to give your information, they can contact you.
Sure. It's K Kramer, KREMER @ttechT.com. So, all right. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks.